Good evening, Charlie.
Were you napping?
Me napping? I did nap yesterday. It was a beautiful thing. We had a weekend full of softball. Not rugby for me. I got a week off this week. But I did take a nap yesterday. Not today, though. But let's get back to that nice little package you put together there, Charlie, of a great little gesture from the Daytona Coconuts, who played SoFlo. Obviously had a very upsetting loss a couple of weeks ago. Javon Lecius, one of their players, passed away, and Daytona with the presentation of the jersey. That was awesome.
That was very nice, and I really like to be able to find these things, put them together to show this side of rugby. It's not only rugby, but I'm very glad that it does happen here between even two teams that, as we were talking today, they don't even know each other because they haven't played, and these guys went through the trouble of actually making a jersey with his name. And I know they had a very cool and fun social after. So that is one of the nice things of rugby. We're going to show some other ones. And
so that's sure. It was great. It was great. As I said, Charlie, this is a playoff matchup. Two teams I don't think have ever played each other from the opposite ends of the state. Tom's talking about my jersey. Charlie, Tom, you can have this is an extra one. You can have this one, but I don't think it'll fit you. Thanks, Tom, for taking my game this Saturday, by the way.
Well, I was a little
under the weather. Speaking of jerseys, go on.
I'm wearing one of the for the new sponsors, and I'm wearing the hat today. I remember the hat, Mike.
You did remember the hat. We can't see the sponsor on the jersey though, because your name is blocking it. So you'll have to sort of stand up a little bit, not too high though, in case you're not wearing anything below. In case you're naked below the waist. Charlie tells me that's how he does the show.
I'm wearing
I don't want to be proven right.
I'm wearing my go all day, boxers.
Your go all day tidy whities.
Okay. Yeah, you know who's wearing go all day today? Also, this who's young lady. She was undecided between go all day and our sponsor, and eventually she decided, go all day. She's wearing the hat and the shirt that Teddy sent us.
Thanks to Teddy Chapman for the swag. Yeah. We'll certainly have him on at some point. I know Boca's season is over, which means he has lots more time to devote to the podcast. We'll get him on, I'm sure, at some point in the upcoming weeks.
Gracias, Valentina.
Yep, great to see Valentina. We'll see if we have her heartthrob Chris Vassell on later. I know we have his son Jordan waiting in the green room. We'll have to see if we see CV later or not. But Charlie, I know you spent more countless hours at Okapi this past weekend. I think they should name that park after you. You spend more time there. Lots of good rugby there. Some fun games.
A great day of rugby, yes. Actually, it could have been better. There was one game missing. Unfortunately, Ave Maria forfeited their game.
Ave Maria, decided to forfeit. They make great photos, but they don't show up for playoff matches. But hey, it is what it is. Hopefully, they'll continue to grow heading into next year, and we'll see where they end up playing when the colleges do come back next year. Because obviously, NSCRO, which is the sort of national small colleges, with UM, Eckerd, and Ave Maria in the past, we're not sure what the deal with all them is. So, but hopefully maybe they'll play D4. I like this D4 thing. It's turning into fun for those that don't want to take it too seriously, but still want to play some rugby.
Or maybe they can't, because I've been talking to some of these teams, and it's really hard to get a team going. Because to have a good season, you need 30 players. You can't just have like 20 at practice. You need 30 players. And many of these teams, it's really tough too. We're going to talk to some of them. So let's just
we got a chock full episode 29. We're almost episode 30, Charlie. I did notice I got an email this week saying we had 500 downloads of the audio version of our podcast. I see our viewer numbers are up this evening, over 40 already. So that's good. I know last week was a bit of a quiet week, but bang into the middle of the playoff action this week with quarterfinals and semifinals in all divisions, except for actually U23 played the one game. I think all divisions played, right? I think, Charlie, it was just the one game.
Only D2 and D3.
Except for D2, yeah.
Oh no, D3 did play. Yes,
D3 did play, but D2 did. Okay, semifinals coming up this weekend, but we have a chock full episode. We got to get done by 8:30. I should have told you to put a timer on here so we can get everybody in. We're going to do 10 minutes per game because we have 11 total games, but 6 games with video that we're really going to focus on.
Yes.
And if you'd like to join us later, you can join the broadcast for our open mic if we have time for one at the end. And the link is rugbyfl.com/join. As James Schultz via Facebook says, Brevard versus St. Pete, going to be an absolute banger. We'll get to our predictions. I'm not going to say that game is going to be an absolute banger, although Brevard haven't played in a month, so who knows if they remember what a rugby ball looks like or what a whistle sounds like. They've been practicing, I'm sure, but we'll get to all that stuff later. rugbyfl.com//join if you want to join the podcast. And if you'd like to, we're going to talk about our sponsors now. As I've got my 401k FL hat on, as does Charlie today. Charlie looks like he might have had some sweat stains on it already.
Really?
Were you wearing it this weekend, Charlie?
Maybe.
So you got some sweat stains, but it kind of goes along right with the bottom level of the Sydney Opera House. It looks like the water in Sydney, so it looks really good. But
that means I'm wearing it, so it's all good.
That is true. It's better than wearing the white one. The white one just gets dirty, but I'm sure you can wash them. We'll have to ask Mick Graham. Mick Graham of 401kfl.com. Again, we thank him for being a proud sponsor of our podcast and for rugbyfl.com this season. If you own a business, if you have a 401k, if you need a 401k, you can go to 401k Florida. Their business is to tackle your retirement plan needs and goals. I know there's a couple of gentlemen we're going to be talking to later that look retirement age, if they aren't already. So perhaps they should give Mick Graham a call and see where their 401k is at. Their team has the expertise in the field of retirement plans, both big and small. If your retirement plan hasn't been reviewed in a while, consider a complimentary, that's free, for those who are we going to make fun of today, Charlie? I know we'll make fun of Ave Maria. For those in Ave Maria, that's free because they didn't play this weekend.
Okay.
A free...
Tom, of course. I mean,
we'll make fun of Tom as always. A free consultation by 401k Florida. You can visit 401kfl.com, as you can see on the bottom left corner of your screen there, to kick things off. Again, massive thanks to Mick for his support of this podcast and rugbyfl.com.
Great guy.
You can also call them if you're not an internet savvy person. You can call them at 321-610-3200. And
we'll have him next week for sure after the Brevard game. So he's coming.
Brevard with a big semifinal coming up this weekend. We'll have Mick on to talk about that game. And we do have a second sponsor, as Charlie said. He's wearing some Flash gear. Flash, one of those names that if you've been around rugby in South Florida for a while, you've seen the name on equipment, but you're wondering who the hell is Flash? Those from South America know exactly who Flash are because they're the leading rugby equipment company in South America. They're also the proud equipment supplier of the most important Argentine teams, including the 4 UAR, which is the rugby union down there, the founder teams, the Buenos Aires rugby union teams, hi Amelia, and 3 out of the 4 latest Argentina champions, including the prestigious Hindu Club as well as Belgrano Athletic Club. And they also provide equipment for several other teams, totaling over 60 teams in the home of the Pumas. They also sponsor the national teams of Uruguay, where Charlie is from, and Brazil, as well as some of the teams competing in SLAR, which is the South American version of MLR, which has really got going this season. The Superliga Americana to rugby. There's been some great games.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you can watch them up here. I know they've been posting them for free. I think you can if you just know where to look in the right places.
Yeah, they're on ESPN, and right now they're playing it in a bubble, which which may have been a good idea also for the MLR. I don't know, and right now they're playing in Montevideo.
Yep, 6 teams there, including our favorite SLAR team, Peñarol. Vamos los Carboneros. They're from Montevideo. And they have a great soccer team as well. But Flash has been in the South American market for 30 years, always focused 100% on rugby. They're now intending to become a key player in the U.S. and Canadian markets. They supply Okapi, Key Biscayne Rats, and as well as a number of other teams here in the United States. And there's some work they've done for Daytona as well, some pre-stuff they've done for them. Their customer value proposition is unique. They claim to be the only rugby brand created and managed by ruggers. They can provide you with everything a team needs to play, and they mean everything from kits, balls. We've seen the FRU balls that the teams have been using this season, post pads, sportswear apparel. They're also the only rugby company that owns its own manufacturing facilities in Argentina and Paraguay, which means complete control over their supply chain. So there's never any customs issues. Charlie, I'm sure you've ordered international stuff from rugby, and we've had sometimes you have customs issues and they get sent back, but no issues like that with Flash.
No.
They also have a large stock of their basic products already here in the US, in Georgia, and their California warehouses. So if you'd like to check out their full range of products, please visit their e-commerce platform here in the US, flash-sports.com, which Charlie has down there on the bottom of the screen. Or you can give them a call at 831-205-9753. I'm going to get my balls for Surfing 7 from Flash. Does Flash do listen, Pancho, Flash will do whatever you want them to do. So they definitely do warehouse. I mean, definitely do referee gear.
Well, I think referee kits are due because you guys haven't done them.
We are. These ones are a little old. These ones, we just got to find some sponsors, sort of offset some of the cost. And as there's Steve Buzz Mattingly, who with Palm Beach, the big
which they use
semi-final match coming up this weekend.
They use Flash, Palm Beach.
They do use Flash. Those are some good-looking jerseys. I'm not sure what the design is. We should have posted them, but yeah, Flash supplying the Hooligans because they weren't allowed to wear the team formerly known as. Oh, there they are. We did see them earlier. Yeah, with the sort of South Pacific style sort of tiki logos. Love those jerseys. Unfortunately, they're only going to be used for 1 year. Maybe you can use them for sevens this year. But I know they're also doing some sevens jerseys for anybody that wants to order some sevens jerseys from them. But if you'd like to help out the podcast or rugbyfl.com, you can go to rugbyfl.com/GoFundMe, or you can Venmo at rugbyfl. We've only got a couple of weeks left, Charlie, of the regular season. Then we'll go back to our every other week situation.
We'll see.
So we've got 2 jam-packed weeks, including the state finals, which we forgot. We should mention, Charlie. The state final venues were announced today. Finally confirmed.
Yes.
6 days. Well, sorry, 6 days before the semifinals. The senior men and senior women and the U23s will take place in Titusville, while the youth stuff will all take place in Jupiter on the same day.
The U23s are to be confirmed, depending on the.
It probably depends who's in it.
They may move them with the U19s, so we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see who's in the championship semifinals for those coming up this weekend. 3 quick things, which I just came up with right before the episode. We're going to do them real quick.
Okay.
Okapi sent a U16 team up to Charlotte this past weekend. They only had, there's a good picture there from Charlotte where they have that nice real grass and proper trees and proper posts.
Yes.
Something we don't see too often here in Florida. But Okapi, there's only 3 U16 teams. I should say 2.5 really. They didn't really complete their schedule, but there's only 3 U16 teams competing in Florida this year. So Okapi from Weston sent a team up to play in Charlotte. Charlotte Tigers, one of the best high school teams on the East Coast. They played their JV squad. On Saturday, they played Aspetuck from Connecticut. And I think it was 34-0, Charlie, if I'm not mistaken.
34-0
in favor of Okapi. I think it was 0, Charlie.
I don't know.
I'm not going to argue with you. But it was a convincing win by the boys in black and pink. And then on Sunday, they took on Charlotte JV. And I was talking to my buddy Nigel Platt, who runs the referees up there in SURS. He actually called me out of the blue yesterday and just wanted to say how good of a job Okapi did, and nothing but great things to say about the way they played and the way they composed themselves up there on the road. Listen, tours can be an interesting thing to deal with, especially at that young age. But the boys went up there and they won that game on the last play. And he couldn't remember the last time Charlotte Tigers lost any game, not even the JV team. So that was a great victory for Okapi. The women's college playoffs are this Saturday, 1A. We have some players on live in Lindenwood. They'll both be in action this Saturday. So I don't know if they'll be available somewhere online, I'm sure, to watch. Life's taking on Central Washington. Lindenwood playing a team TBD because BYU and Penn State were supposed to play this weekend, but that game got canceled due to some COVID concerns. So I'm not sure who Lindenwood are going to play, but they'll play somebody. Meanwhile, the men are still sorting themselves out. They're playing just regular season games still and aren't quite sure what they're going to do with the playoffs. And our third quick thing, it was the week 4 of MLR. I'm sure he's not watching, but I want to give a shout out to Peter Malcolm, formerly of the Taravella Trojans down here in Coral Springs. He plays for the San Diego, and he scored a try. And there's not too many times the hookers score tries in professional rugby. So I'm going to give Peter Malcolm a shout out for that second half try in a loss to the Houston SaberCats. Also in that game, my mind's gone completely blank, Charlie. The former England captain who now plays for the Legion.
And you're asking me.
He dislocated his shoulder. Somebody in the comments will remind me of his name. I saw a clip of it earlier. Dislocated his shoulder in his first game for the Legion. He's a Harlequin. That's probably why I forget his name. It's probably on purpose.
Okay.
But this is how my brain works. Anyway, do we have a Miami MLR update, Charlie? Speaking of MLR.
Actually,
I know I always like to throw it. No.
But it's coming.
It's got some gin and tonic in the eye.
Everybody wants one here. I was talking to a guy from California last night, and he was planning to move to Tampa, and he was asking, when are you guys going to get the MLR team? It's coming.
One of these days.
Okay, let's... Rob
Shaw. It finally hit me. Chris Robshaw. Yeah, Chris Robshaw separated his shoulder in his first game of MLR. So hopefully he'll be back at some point in a month or two. But yeah, first game of Malawi dislocated his shoulder. All right, Charlie, let's get to the action.
Yes.
We've got a ton of games here. We have 6 games to talk about with video, and then we have 5 other ones to talk about that we didn't have video from, or limited video. Okay. Let's get to the first game. We're going to do this in whatever order we decide to do it in. So we did have one U23 quarterfinal, which was Okapi.
Ross, we're going to follow the order that you are seeing on your screen.
I don't see anything on my screen right now. I'm looking at the rundown.
Well, there you go.
I'm looking at the rundown. The rundown says Okapi Gainesville is first. It's our U23 game, which was the one highlights I didn't watch because there was a ton of points. But sometimes I like to just leave them until
surprise you.
Yeah, and it was the one U23 quarterfinal with the winner going on to play those aforementioned Palm Beach Hooligans this weekend at 12:30 on Saturday at Dyer Park. So this was a fun game, Charlie. Let's bring in our representatives from these two teams.
So first, respect
from Gainesville, one of the legends of Florida rugby. We had him on in the fall. He had his own episode in the fall. That's Kenny Simmons, the coach of the team formerly known as University of Florida. And
then we have the opposing coach, Ronnie.
And then we have Ronnie Suarez, who looks shocked to be on. Sorry. We're glad to see him here. He's still hung over from Tropical Sevens, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have Diego, also from Okapi. So let's get to the highlights, Charlie.
Okay, we're gonna run
10 minutes on each game. We're starting at 7:20, Charlie. Let's go. We've got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think these highlights might be 10 minutes on their own. Well, let's just talk over the highlights as we see.
Yes.
Who's our referee for this one?
Kai Martinovic.
It's Kai Martinovic.
Oh, I think Ronnie wants to talk about the referee. Maybe.
Ronnie always wants to talk about the referee.
The loser coach.
As we watch the highlights,
talk about the referee.
Let's talk to our esteemed guest, Kenny Simmons, first. Kenny, talk about this season. You guys got off to a bit of a slow start. You had a rough couple of years with UF, but you seem to have turned things around. Tell us about this team this year and how you got to this semifinal stage.
So, we've been struggling for a few years, and then this fall, with COVID and us having to do social distance practice, Connor Murray, our president, and the group that we had did a great job of recruiting players, and we somehow got 15 to 18 players that came to practice with no games all fall, just doing passing. We couldn't play touch, but they worked their butts off on working on all individuals. So the spring, we were still brand new. We basically got our scores were pretty bad when we first started.
Yeah.
But the guys wanted to learn, and they were committed. And the whole goal from day one, we said, all that matters is what happens playoff time.
That's it.
Get better and get ready for it. They bought off on it, and they've been working hard. I've got a dream team of coaches. I've got Kerry O'Malley. Well, TJ Chancellor's my assistant. We got Kerry O'Malley doing guest appearances, and the Hogs have helped us out. We worked a lot with the Hogs, and that's what made a huge difference.
Yeah, did you get any players from Gainesville once their season sort of collapsed? Did they have any U23s they could give you?
We got one. We got Isaiah Spain. He played fullback for us this past weekend. He's 22. He goes to Santa Fe. He couldn't play with us, but we've been watching him, trying to get him to come to Florida to get in. But yeah, he's the only one. And we did have one kid that graduated that was still under 23 that was able to play with us, KJ.
Okay.
Angel. So he was able to play with us, but he wasn't available for this game. He's our normal fly half. But
gotcha. So tell us a little bit about this game. This is a game contest. Obviously, we'll talk about the ending in a little bit when we get to it. But how
game
this
went
game
the same way. Game went the same way. First 20 minutes was slow. We couldn't get the ball. Ronnie guys did a great job of keeping it away from us and making. And we just kept making penalties. We were pretty undisciplined. But by the second quarter, we kind of turned it around, got within 1 point at the half, and then at halftime we came out like gangbusters. But then, as Ronnie's teams always are, and these guys from Okapi, they came back and you couldn't ask for a better finish than what we had for a game.
Yeah, we'll get to the finish in a little bit here. Ronnie, talk about this season. Obviously, you sort of had to combine. What sort of percentage did you end up with FIU versus Okapi with this side?
I'd say more Okapi than FIU, or just a little bit under 50%.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of guys just wouldn't make the trek up because they're so far south.
No, understandable.
But it is what it is. We may do with what we had. Okapi, the Okapi guys, we were surprised that a lot of them hadn't. Some were playing with the men, and some were just not playing from after graduating from high school. So
right.
It was good to get a squad together, and I think at the end we ended up with 25 guys, so it worked out. It's typical FIU numbers.
Yeah, how was obviously this brought your season to an end? Give us your overall thoughts on the season and talk about going into next year when we hopefully will see FIU back in the navy and gold.
Yeah, I mean it was great. I think it was a great season for basically a year that we had no rugby, and seeing guys being able to go out there and still be able to play the game, and get better and develop. And I think just building, like, especially for me with the team being half and half, it was great to see like guys mixing it up with guys who weren't in school with, and building relationships and building, trying to build Okapi and trying to build that relationship to FIU.
Oh, 100%. That's what it's all about. Diego Loyola, one of the players for Okapi. Diego, talk about this game and talk about the season overall for you as well. You've come through this Okapi system. How many years have you been playing now?
This is my 7th year.
Seventh year, so that's great for somebody.
I started learning from Okapi. Started when I was in high school and started playing with Okapi, and then found my way over to FIU. This year it's been a fun year for us. For us that we wanted to play, especially the guys, us coming from FIU, we really wanted to find somewhere we could play and have a good U23 season. That was our goal. And thank God we had Okapi, and we were able to pull guys from them and our own guys, and we had a great year. This game was tough. It was a tough loss. The middle part of the game is where we really messed up. It shouldn't have came down to it being that close. But I'm proud of my boys. I'm proud of my team. I love them all. We fought really hard till the end, and as we all know, the end of that game was one for the books.
Is this the end right here, Charlie? I think, right? So this was Okapi down 6 points. They would obviously still have had to made the conversion too, but there was a contested try in the in goal here. Not sure if he got it down. It doesn't look like from that angle like he did. Kai Martinovich was on the wrong side of things, and he, as we can see the ball up in the air there, he consulted with his AR. And it's Pancho Lopez there in the white shirt and white hat. And he didn't see it grounded either, so there was no try, and that was the end of the game. Great way to finish. Obviously disappointing for Okapi to end their season that way. Came so close, but I don't think there was any complaints from the Okapi guys. And there's Kai with his held-up call, and that was the end of the game. So I think it was a great U23 season. Kenny, while we have you, we've got a few minutes left here. How do you think, you've obviously coached college ball, and now this is sort of U23, coming from a country like I do where there is college university rugby, but it's not particularly serious. Most of the the clubs have U21s and U23 teams. Is there a future in Florida for U23s, or would you like to obviously just continue with with colleges as how they are? How do you think about that?
Now we've got to stay with the colleges, but I believe there's enough kids that aren't in college that could play U23. But no, the universities, playing for the university is something special. And for the university clubs and all that stuff. I mean, we have to put up with some regulations that make it a little bit tough. But I think the U23 is a great thing to have. It's just a matter of finding enough, reaching out and getting enough of the kids that, and I think you've got a good source of the high school football players that don't make it to college.
Yep.
And somehow we just need to get the word to them and get them going. And it would be great to have the colleges playing U23 teams.
Yeah, I wonder if the men's teams that don't have an affiliated college or a college nearby could perhaps enter U23 teams into a college division, right, and just perhaps not be eligible for whatever postseason we end up having. But Ronnie, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I I mean, with our guys, there's nothing like playing for FIU. And for me, there's nothing, there's nothing like
He's
coaching
right.
the college side. You know, they have, it's a little bit different in the sense that they're doing it for their colors. They're doing it for their school. They're doing it with, you know, guys that they're with all the time. It's much different. And I mean, I would love to see the teams. I would love to see Okapi continue with a U23 side like that. That would be amazing if they did. And I mean, the same thing for Gainesville to continue with a U23 and then that gives us that local opportunity of, instead of having to play a like straight up men's side, we can play a side of players at the same age range as the kids in college.
Yeah, for sure. Even location like Palm Beach, it's a good half hour from Boca. You've got other schools up there like Palm Beach Atlantic and Kaiser that have a football team now, and there's going to be rugby players around there as well. I know they've got a lot of kids that don't get. They've got so many players on that team that a lot of their kids don't get to play. So maybe
when you talk to the guys, the FIU players who are at Okapi, they'll tell you, they're like, this is way different than what we have at FIU. So it's at the same time of it being its own entity. It's just in a different environment when you're practicing and playing on your university.
100%. All right. Well, we've reached our 10 minutes. Ken, good luck this weekend. You got to make another long trip down here to play the Palm Beach U23s this Saturday.
We're looking forward to
12:30. That game was sort of pre-curtain raiser to the D3 semifinal between Palm Beach and Jacksonville. Gentlemen, Thank you very much. We'll have to have you on again as always. Appreciate your support of the pod.
Good luck.
We'll see you down the road here. Yeah, we'll get to sevens in a couple.
Coast Guard, baby, Coast Guard.
Right.
We got work to do.
Listen, Ross, before we let them go, let me get that little video I told you today.
Oh yes,
about Ken. Well,
yeah, Kenny. Listen, this is why Kenny is who he is.
Yes,
this is part of him.
Wait.
The try.
It's not you at the strip club, Kenny. Don't worry.
Try zone that would have won the game. That just tells what kind of team you guys are. We're really proud to play. Good job.
Thank you.
It means a lot to us.
Yeah, that's great to see.
Another nice thing that you like to see in rugby, the coach of the winning team being able to talk in such a friendly and nice way to the losing team, and nobody said anything to him other than clapping him, which was the right thing to do. So great thing, everybody. Congratulations.
That's what it's all about.
Hey, I got one last thing to say. Just on the referee call. Refereeing is the hardest job out there. I will never want to be a ref. I respect everything they do. I respect every call they make. If the ref felt that it wasn't a try, it wasn't a try. And if a ref's in a great position,
we just went to the TMO. We went to the TMO.
Hey, TMO said
two days later, we went to TMO.
I said it wasn't a try, so I knew it wasn't a try, and I said it wasn't.
I was standing right next to him.
Yeah.
Good stuff, boys. Well, a fun way for you guys to end. I know it's never fun to end the season, but that was a great game, and hopefully FIU will continue to get the numbers and get back to being a state power next season.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you, boys. All right. Next. I went 2 minutes long on that one, Charlie, but that's all right.
Okay, we
got off to a quick start.
You did pretty well.
Let's get to the U19s. We had video of 3 of the 4 games.
Okay. Let's just bring in the guests. Our next game is going to be
in. Our next quarterfinal was Boca hosting Key Biscayne. It was the game I was supposed to ref, but Tom Champa's game got forfeited, so I allowed him to take my game. I was feeling a little under the weather on Friday. Actually went through Saturday evening, so I was glad I gave him the game. I'm not sure I would have lasted in that heat. And Tom did a good job. Gave out yellow cards like it was free candy to the kids. Guys. But that's all right. So here from Key Biscayne, we have a friend of the pod, Lucas Cavalieri. He's been on a few times. Lucas, welcome. And then from Boca, we have Tyler Webb. I'm going to call him Ty Webb because I asked him before the podcast in backstage if he knew who Ty Webb from Caddyshack was, and he said he didn't, which I think is a disgrace to his parents. They should have made him watch that video as soon as he was old enough. That movie, excuse me, as soon as he was old enough to be able to understand what was going on. So Tyler's going to go watch Caddyshack tonight before he goes to bed. And we have Jordan Vassell, son of Chris Vassell, and scorer of the game-winning try. We'll ask him why his team didn't kick for sticks in that situation in a minute. But let's get to the highlights, Charlie. First of all, this was a battle of attrition. Key Biscayne had whooped up on Boca in the first week of the season, but both teams have obviously improved since then, and this was a great quarterfinal. Let's go to Lucas first. Lucas, this was unfortunately your last high school rugby game for Key Biscayne, but talk us through this game and how it went for you boys in blue.
Well, honestly, like we started off the game with like a lot of mistakes. We weren't really playing our game. You know, we had some drop balls, and kind of like we like the rugby we're taught to play is pass it wide, look for the space, and we kind of felt like we were going too much towards the contact instead of opening up the ball, and just honestly like making silly mistakes. But in the end, what matters is like we had all the attitude. Like we all left our hearts on the field, honestly, and I mean, we've been training, like most of us have been training, not just this season, like for the 8 months, I think, but we've been playing together as a team for years now. Yeah. And this team is like, they're my brothers, honestly. I've been with some of these guys for 12 years. And I mean, we left it all on the field and we gave it all we could. And unfortunately, it wasn't the result that we wanted, but I'm very proud of the team.
Yeah, you guys got on the scoreboard first here as we saw Tom Champa consulting his ARs. We got teams of 3, I think, for almost all the games this past weekend, as you guys pounded it in there from inside the 5-meter line. How many of you how many were you losing for next season, Lucas?
I believe there's like a couple, like 5 or 6 of us that won't be playing next season. But the majority,
so you still got a good chunk back.
Sorry?
So you still got a good chunk back for next year.
Yeah. The majority of the team is juniors, so I think they'll stay and they'll keep playing together. And I'm excited to see what they can do next year.
Good stuff. Tyler, let's talk about what position do you play, Tyler? You're a first-time guest here on the pod. What position do you play? Yes. Tell us a bit about your rugby background, too. You got that funny accent.
Funny accent. So I'm originally from South Africa. I've been here for just over a year and a half. I play hooker, front row, sometimes prop, mainly hooker, though. And, yeah, I played for Wellington in 2019.
Okay.
And I joined Boca Bucks for the beginning of the season.
I won't ask you why. I'm not going to upset Pukey. And I know there's a lot of players that go back and forth between the two teams. It's a good friendly rivalry. But talk us about this game, Ty. You guys, it was a good battle and obviously went down to the wire.
Oh, no, it definitely was. I mean, we originally played Key Biscayne in the beginning of our season, our very first game. And because we were a new team, we were trying new things. We were all over the place. It was a very stormy day too.
I remember the rain, yes.
It was very, And I mean, Key Biscayne is a very good side. We knew it was going to be a tough game. The boys, they all play with their hearts, and it came down to really very tight towards the end.
Yeah,
and
right here. There's the game-winning try. Now Jordan Vassell's here. Jordan, was this a kickable? The score here was 12-12. Now, Charlie, I'm going to pause this video real quick. Hold on. We're going to talk about the tiebreaker rules. Now, the tiebreaker, high school rugby, they can't play more than 70 minutes, so they can't go to extra time. They can only play 70 minutes, and the first tiebreaker is tries. The score at this point was 12-12. The first tiebreaker is tries. The second tiebreaker is who won the match in the regular season. Now, obviously, Key Biscayne had won. Now, did you know that, Jordan, at this point? What the tiebreakers were?
I did not. I figured that out after the game.
Was it a kickable penalty? It looked like in a reasonably kickable position. And was there any discussion? I think you guys just took it quickly because there was literally less than a minute left.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no discussion about going for points.
No, there wasn't. I think.
I blame your coaching staff for that. But in the end, it turned out all right as you guys went left and then ended up coming back right. Here's the final pass out to the right, number 13 here, going into contact, risky, but got it out to Jordan Vassell, who scores the game-winning try. Then we'll talk about what was this dance afterwards, Jordan. Please discuss.
Yeah, please explain. Please explain.
It's coming. It's not coming. Here it is. Definitely something his dad taught him.
My dad did not teach me that. Well, I don't think my dad really has the dance moves, so
I don't have something that's stupid.
No, there he is. Was it a video game celebration, Jordan?
No, it was just a dance move that I learned when I was up in Orlando with the boys for Tropical. So then I just decided to do it there.
Listen, I guess if there's a time to do it, it's when you score a game-winning try in the state quarterfinals. So congratulations on the win. What were you bet? How loudly were you calling for that ball?
I think I trusted my teammate enough that he was ready to pass me the ball. I don't think I really had to call for it. The chemistry was there.
Now, talk about this season as a whole. How far you've come from that first game? I know the weather was crazy. It was the first game of the season, but talk about how far this team has come, and talk about Cardinal Gibbons now, who you got to face in the semis.
So we had a slow start of the season. Lost to Biscayne, a really bad one. We have had a new coach, a couple new guys, so we had to build the team up from what we had last year. So we've came a long way, and I think we're only getting better. So we still haven't even played our best game yet.
So Cardinal Gibbons have got to watch out. I assume you know what they bring to the table. They're probably the biggest team in the state.
They are. They've got a lot of athletes on their team, big guys. So we have to step it up this game. They're beating everyone right now, so we know what to bring to the table.
Now, you three, Ty and Lucas, we got some Jaguara stuff coming up, I guess, right? You guys are going to go up to Atlanta mid-May. We're going to have some practices coming up and some tryouts. Ty, you're going to be involved in that, you hope?
Maybe. It's definitely a possibility. We'll have to see.
And Lucas, same for you, I hope?
Yeah, same. I'm pretty sure the tryouts are this Sunday, so I'm hoping I make the team.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a couple of practices, a couple of tryouts, and then a game against North versus South. A couple of joint sessions as well. So we'll have some more information on that. But looking forward to seeing you guys in action in postseason as well. But Jordan and Ty, good luck this weekend against Cardinal Gibbons. Get low.
Very much.
That's all I'm going to have to say. Lucas will tell you all about that. I ref their game against Gibbons, and those guys tackled like maniacs for 70 minutes and only lost by a try, I think, in the end. But thanks for joining us this evening, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that was another crazy ending, Charlie. We had some great endings to games this weekend.
And it's really funny that we'll put it on the coaching stuff, not on the kids, to know this
yes,
tie-breaking thing. And it reminded me of that game I've already talked about it here. There was a semifinal, and we ended 13-13.
We did.
And to be honest, nobody knew what to do exactly. And I believe that criteria of who scored more tries would have, I believe, have us lost with Miami. And the referee just didn't know it because, so we went to kicks and, that one went well for us.
I made sure all the referees knew. I'm hoping the FYRU made sure the teams knew. Whether the coaches let the players, but they apparently didn't in the Boca Raton situation. If they had a tie game late, they knew they had to win the game because they were going to lose on the tiebreaker if they didn't have more tries. But it ended up turning out all right. So Scott says the best ending this weekend was Tampa U19s. We'll debate that one in a second because that's the next game coming up, Charlie. No, it's not. Okapi Gibbons is next.
Okapi Gibbons. And we just have Rocky here in the shadows.
In the shadows of his Fort Lord there. He's such a handsome lad. I mean, come on.
Sorry about that.
All right. So Okapi Gibbons, they played each other early this season. Okapi came away winning that one 28-10, but this is a very different Gibbons team from then. They've had a few more weeks of rugby experience and a few more wrestlers added to the team. And this got off to a fast start here and then kind of held on, Rocky. Tell us about how this one went from your viewpoint.
Well, starting from the kick, it didn't look too good there.
No. Jacko keeps scrambling backwards. But talk about this man right here, Rocky. This is a guy I want to take another look at. How much rugby has this gentleman played?
Brock's been playing for a little bit. We actually were able to get him over from Boca. He played his youth in Boca, And then he came to school at Cardinal Gibbons. His older brother went to Cardinal Gibbons as well. His brother never played rugby, but Brock's an animal, to say the least.
Only a sophomore, and he's what, 6'2", 260?
Yep, he'll be back.
So that was the first open try there with, I think, who scored that one? Was that Trey scoring that one?
I believe that was Trey Brown.
The linebacking partnership from Cardinal Gibbons coming together.
Yes, sir. Keeping it going.
So you guys got off to this fast start. Talk about what the keys to this game against Okapi. You'd obviously played them earlier this season. What was the difference in this one?
You know Okapi is lethal with the ball. So our whole game plan was hold possession. Don't let them – if they can't score if they don't have the ball.
Yep.
So keep possession, keep possession, keep possession. And that's what we did, especially early on. And really just tire them down. We got a bunch of big guys. Let's just play and let's make them tackle us for 70 minutes.
You saw Luis Lucas there with it. I hope he put sunscreen on that bald head. His socks quite aren't pulled up. But it was a fun game. You guys got up to the, 2 or 3 try lead, and then his try again with after the knock on going back the other way.
There goes Jack.
Talk about this man right here, Jack O'Keefe. I wish he wasn't going to play football or going to try and play football at Florida State. I think he'll be back playing rugby somewhere, I think, in a year or two.
Well, he would be playing football at any school in the country if we would have had a spring. He's one of those guys, unfortunately, that some of the other schools didn't get to take a look at him last spring. But he has a future in whatever sport he wants to play. If he decided tomorrow to go play basketball, it wouldn't shock me to see him playing for the Heat in about 4 years.
And Trey Brown, another try there. Another guy with a complete football background, but has taken to this game like a duck to water. And those two have really powered those two and your number 8 as well have really powered this team to where you've got now. Okapi made a bit of a comeback here, making you a little nervous. Is Gabe Hayden, fresh off the plane from England. His dad, Matt Hayden, obviously a former coach of Okapi Wanderers, and he's back over for a little while. Scored the try there, and as Okapi started to come back into it, what were the thoughts going through your head, Rocky, at this point?
Run the clock. Hurry up. No, they scored 14 quick. So yeah, it got the heart racing a little bit, but our guys weathered that storm pretty quickly. Our 10 went down with an ankle injury, which was a little nervous, made us a little nervous too.
It's an important
but once
position.
again, we weathered the storm here. And John was able to get
this point here was a one try. It was a one try game right here at this point.
24. It was 24-14, I believe, at this point.
Also a 10-point game. Okay.
Yep. And then there's John, a junior, with his first try of the year.
Excellent.
He'd have more if Trey would ever get the ball out to him, but Trey really likes to hold on to that ball.
Listen, he's such an athlete that he always breaks at least 1 or 2 tackles.
Well, it's hard to be mad at him when he does. Yeah, when he does the stuff he does.
So where's this team right now? Is this team playing the best rugby of the season? I mean, you guys got off to a late start, I know, with some COVID issues, but you guys have really come on strong the last few weeks here.
Well, last time I was on the show, it's been our mantra all year. It's not about playing great rugby, the first week of the season. It's about playing your best rugby come April. And right now it's April and we're playing our best rugby, and that's all we can ask for. So we're just trying to keep this train rolling.
And there's the final celebratory kick into touch after time had expired, and a big win for you guys against the team that had beaten you earlier this season. Now you get to play just up the road in the semi-final against Boca. What do you know about that? You haven't played them this year, I don't think.
Yeah, we tied them.
Oh, you did. You tied them a 7-7. Yep. That's right. So what do you know about Boca? What are they going to present trouble for you?
Well, I think they know us and we know them about as good as anyone. We play them every year. They're physical, real tough. I know their 10 really well. I play rugby with their 10's dad. I mean,
yes, you do.
They're great. I mean, they're very well coached. A lot of good athletes. They're really physical. We're excited for the challenge, but we know it's not going to be easy. I mean, they're the number 2 seed in the state for a reason, or number 4, whatever it is. I mean, they're a top seed for a reason.
It's going to be a great South Florida battle. Looking forward to it, Rocky. As we look at some pictures from the day, Charlie Velasquez doing hard work in the blazing sun, as always on that turf. There's Jack O'Keefe there making that was the try, I think, there.
Yeah, it was.
This trade went the other way.
Question for you, Ross. I guess I might as well ask now. So since Boca and us tied in the regular season, if it's coming down to the end of regulation, what's the tiebreaker? And how do we get this changed? Why do I have to do math to try to figure out who's going to win a game? Why can't we decide it on the field?
Listen, the man that knows the answers to that, we invited him to come on tonight, Evan Haig. If he decides to come on and answer that question, he will. But listen, at the AGM next year, just say, can we talk about the tiebreaker rules? And there are a bunch of different ones. I know after that, I think it comes down to a coin toss in the end, but hopefully you guys decide it on the field.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, or maybe take a lawyer, just in case. I have a lawyer on the sideline. And I have to say, we did invite Okapi, of course. Gavin was up. He just couldn't make it because
he's a very busy man.
200 meetings, but we did invite them.
Well, Rocky, thanks for joining us as always.
Thank you guys for having me.
Good luck this Saturday against Boca, and hopefully we'll perhaps see you in the finals on the 24th.
I sure hope so. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
All right, 3 down, Charlie. A few more to go.
Let's bring in this guy to help us out here a little bit, okay?
Oh boy,
the man with the gold they had.
Chris, you just gave your son grief for that dance, and now you're doing it on national television.
Yeah. Hey, unmute yourself.
We can't hear you either, so that's probably a good thing. Keep him muted.
I was teasing him.
Oh, his headphones are working. Damn it, Charlie. We're never going to get to 8:30. Anyway, next game, Charlie. Let's get to it.
Yes.
Hammerheads, the final U19 quarterfinal we have video of is Hammerheads Tampa. This one was a little closer than I thought it was going to be, Charlie. Hammerheads, Swiffle had dominated Tampa in the previous matchup down in Naples, but this one was a lot closer
Let's bring in
than I thought
Dan.
It was going to be. Let's bring Dan Marks in from Naples. Dan's having a drink.
A nice beer.
As he should on the show. Dan, how are we?
I'm good.
Congratulations on the win. Let's get to some video that we have from Mr. Velasquez, my esteemed producer.
This was provided by Naples.
It was provided by Naples, which is always, listen, if you have any videos and photos, don't forget, rugbyfl.com/upload.
And by the way, I must say, I'm going to go be, not myself, but one of my guys is going to be taping the game over there next weekend. Because these guys know,
they know the value.
Stuff. Exactly.
They know the value of paying Charlie or one of his minions to take the games. Here's the highlight. Here are the highlights here. You guys are in the gray here, Dan?
We're in gray.
Yeah. Let's restart it because that was a quick play that whoops.
Oh, little interception. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Same thing happened to us in our first match against them.
Oh, sorry.
That's good coaching right there. They knew exactly what was coming. But you guys fought back nicely, tied the game here. Got close to tying. I'm not sure if that first conversion was made or not, but it was a tight game in this one. Kyle Van de Venten, one of our young and up-and-coming refs, taking charge of this one. Naples get this one wide on that beautiful field there. We're all jealous of this field, Dan. I don't know what you guys are doing there with the city or the county, but we need to find out because this is a beautiful field. There's a nice break. Who's this man making the break right here?
Oh, that's real sweet.
Position? What position is he?
He's an 8. He's a junior. 8. We actually he didn't start the game. We started a couple other kids that we normally they had good practice weeks, so we started them.
Okay.
We brought Rio in at halftime.
I like that. Rewarding the midweek work. Always a good thing to do. So why was this game closer than the last meeting, Dan? You guys, just maybe they have guys they didn't have in that first game.
Tampa,
nerves.
Tampa played really good defense. Their cover defense was excellent. Their tackling was good for the most part. It was tough getting through.
And you guys are knocking on the door here, and you're a little scrum half diving over there for the try.
That's Lucas Spies.
Now, you guys scored on a kick, I think, the last time we had you on, and here was Tampa scoring on another kick.
Wellington.
That's right. It was the Wellington game.
It's the exact same. They were watching that video.
Kyle Van de Venter quite wisely calling a timeout and going to his team of 3. And a nice win for you guys, 26-13 over Tampa, continuing the undefeated season. Dan, talk about who we've got coming up in the semifinals here, with Jacksonville coming all the way from one corner of the state to the other.
We haven't seen them in like 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's one of those matchups that doesn't happen too often just because of the distance. They were trying to keep things sort of somewhat close this year because of COVID. Have you seen any tape, or what do we know about Jacksonville? Obviously, particularly.
I saw some highlights. I saw they got good speed outside. That's all I've seen really.
And we've seen the lovely grass on your pitch. Is it a wide pitch? Is it a long pitch?
It's full size. Yeah, it's a full size pitch.
70 by 110, Dan? Are we going 70
70
by
by
100?
100. It's a soccer. It's
Charlie.
Full-size soccer. And Charlie's then we have to add the in goals.
Oh, okay. Charlie's getting the tingles.
Larry Fox.
Legend.
He's seen some posts for us for both the men and the boys a few years back, and
what a man.
We bring them out and put it together, and they're solid.
They let you dig holes there in Naples?
Yeah. Well, we dig the same exact holes, and it's right on the soccer goal, so it doesn't really affect soccer.
Teams out there, I know there's a few teams out there that always have trouble with cities that won't let them dig holes. Just talk to Naples; they'll tell you how to get it done.
We just go to the same spot. We drop some anchors in and then bolt them in.
Here in Miami, it's like you're committing a felony, if you dare to make a hole, man.
Felonies in the 305, Charlie? No.
Oh, my God. It's crazy.
Oh, man. Well,
that's that way around most of the country.
How are you looking going into these semifinals, Dan? Are you healthy? How are we looking?
We lost our fullback, Cal Jarbo.
Oh, no.
At Tropical Sevens.
Ah, man, Charlie, you and I talked about Tropical Sevens, and
I saw somebody in a one of these things.
Yeah,
a cast, a body bag, Charlie. What are we talking about here?
No, like I don't know how you say it. Like holding.
He blew out his ACL. He's done.
Oh, he did his knee.
Oh, the ACL.
Man.
ACL and MCL.
That's why, kids, stay away from that 7 stuff, especially the week before the postseason. But Dan, hopefully that loss at 15 doesn't hurt you guys too much, and you can continue your winning ways. CV, unmute yourself. What do you know about this Naples team? You could play well, face them in the final.
Well, we hope so. We got to get through Big Cardinal Gibbons this weekend, but Naples, those young men over there are just running and having a good time playing rugby. But our program here, we're just waiting for one match at a time, to be honest with you. And we hope we do see Naples in the finals. But for right now, we're getting ready for Cardinal Gibbons.
One game at a time. Listen to that. CV's been coached well. He's a coach that's been coached well in that media training. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us from the West Coast this evening. Good luck on Saturday against Jacksonville, and perhaps we'll see you in the championship on April 24th up in Jupiter.
Yeah, thank you.
Dan.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dan. Bye-bye.
Appreciate your time. All right, that's it. Well, U19s, we did have one other U19s. We can talk about that real quick, Charlie, before we get to the D4 stuff. Jacksonville edged Wellington 21-19. Another close finish. Unfortunately, we don't have video of that game. We don't have anybody do we have anybody from either team, Charlie, in the green room?
No.
But before we get to D4, let's bring in the aforementioned Nigel Platt. You can see his beautiful bald head there. Nigel, what is your official position with Sirs up there in the area just north of us?
It depends really who you ask.
We like to keep this show PG-13, but
yeah, it's PG-13. My official title is assignment officer for Sirs, Southeast
so the same as me.
So you're colleagues.
We are colleagues across the border. Now, Nigel, you also ref as well, just like I do, and you got to referee the Okapi U16s who made that trip up to Charlotte, and talk about that game against Aspetuck, and then I guess you also took in that Charlotte game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to give a shout out actually to the Okapi under-16s. They were absolutely outstanding and probably stole the whole weekend with most of the spectators. Their camaraderie, their sportsmanship was second to none. I actually had the pleasure of officiating them on the Saturday when they played Aspetuck and they shut Aspetuck out. Luis, I'm going to give a shout out to Luis, their captain. I hope I pronounced his name right.
You got to brush up on your Spanish, Nigel.
Oh, yeah, right. French or German, maybe. Spanish, not so much. He led by example, and he was a great leader and a great captain. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. I was going to say, how is Florida rugby sort of, especially youth rugby, seen outside of Florida? We've had some success at the RCTs, more with the South squad, but Florida Juice has done pretty well as well over the years. We'll talk about the whole event this weekend as well.
Yeah, it was a rugby bonanza hosted by the Charlotte Rugby Club. and put on by the Charlotte Junior Rugby Association, led by Eric Saxon. Teams came from Connecticut.
That's the problem when you're outside.
That just frozen in a rather unfortunate position. Oh, there he's back. He's back. Yeah. We lost you there for a sec, Nigel.
Yeah, it keeps passing on my end, so to speak. I said passing.
I know you're in the boonies.
Yeah, I am.
So it was a rugby bonanza. We had Connecticut. Who else did we have there?
Well, Aspetuck bought 3 teams, including a girls' team. Wando from South Carolina brought 3 teams, including a girls' team. Charlotte Tigers, obviously, were the hosts. They had three teams, including a girls' team. And who have I missed? Raleigh Redhawks. They had 3 teams, including a girls' team. And then we had Okapi as well.
Good stuff. Okapi, you hear that? Girls' team. Get it going. girls rugby here, Nigel, has sort of sputtered to a halt.
Well, actually, ours has gone really from strength to strength. I mean, the Wando team I mentioned, not last year, the year before, there was 5 girls turned up to a practice from a notice that they put up in the school, and they've grown from 5 girls to 50-something.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all about getting the coaches in there and getting the people committed to putting the time in to teach the girls and to keep them around.
But sorry, Ross.
No, go ahead, Nige.
The downside to that is that they have to travel distances to play games.
Yeah, that was one of the problems here. Yeah,
they're isolated down in Charleston, South Carolina, on the coast.
Let me ask you, Ross, Nigel. I don't know if you were able to see some of the footage we just showed of the U19s here.
I did.
Does that give you some kind of comparison to what's going on in Georgia and the Carolinas as far as high school boys?
Absolutely. It's flourishing, it would seem, down in Florida, and there's some spectacular players out there, I have to say, from some of the teams and some of the clips I saw. And what are you feeding those boys down there?
Churrasco.
Well, he's talking about Cardinal Gibbons, I think. That's just Fort Lauderdale money, Nigel. That's all that is. But
they make me look small, and I'm not little.
Because I was just sorry, Ross, because we have this gentleman here that we don't have frequently, and you're always invited. Yeah, I sort of find it more interesting to be able to compete, with our neighboring states, or travel wise, something you can actually do in a weekend like Okapi just did, because I think it would be a great experience for the kids, because there's not going to be anything national for the U19s, and that's the invitational thing, but I think a regional, more regional approach would be very beneficial for everybody, right? To not, because we play, the same guys every year, so either you guys come in here, or what do you think?
Oh, Charlie, I think the NIT, the National Invitation Tournament, I'm actually fortunate that I get invited back. Goodness knows why, but I get invited back every year to go and officiate in that, and I'll be out in Kansas City in June. But that aside, because that's by application only.
Yeah.
It would be good if all the southern states could get together. We used to have the LAUs for the collegiates and the ITTs or TAUs, whatever they called it, for the clubs. Maybe we took the champions of each bracket or each age group from each area, and we all met in a centralized location per se. I know Florida, you're down there, and some of the teams are pretty far. I mean, Charlotte, although I asked some of the Okapi guys, and I think they said it was like a 12-hour trip.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, to Charlotte. So I mean, it was a bit of a hike, but I mean, we could possibly meet up for a weekend, and have a southern champion. Yeah. But that would be something that everyone would have to agree on, and the minds and the brains, the U19 and below rugby would have to get together.
We have to put it out there so it gets rolling,
We'll make it happen. Well, I think Okapi representing Florida did a great job for themselves this past weekend, and that's just about representing the state, and that the word will get around that we sort of know what we're doing down here. Some teams know what they're doing, Nigel, and Okapi is definitely one of them. So thanks for joining us tonight. Grant Haynes says hi. He couldn't join us this evening.
I have one thing to add for you. You were talking about your state championships and how you can only play 70 minutes, etc., etc.
Yes.
And how to decide a champion and leave it on the field. This is how we do it. We play 70-minute games now, but when it comes to the finals, we play 60-minute games, 30-minute halves, leaving those 10 minutes, because if it is tied, then we play 2 5-minute sudden victory periods.
Interesting.
There's one solution for you.
There you go,
Chris. Keep that in your back pocket for the AGM, and we'll bring it up with the management.
Yes,
and well, that's a great idea. Well, Nigel, all the way from South Carolina, we appreciate you joining us this evening, and I'm sure we'll have you on again, mate.
Nice
all right, well, guys, it was nice to see you again, Charlie.
Spread the word out there, Nige. We need a Sirs podcast going. We need a Carolina podcast or a Georgia rugby podcast. We can't be.
No one needs to see this face on a regular basis.
That's true.
Legend.
That's true.
Right, Nige. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome, guys. Have a good evening.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Good man.
Great guy.
Good man. That right there. Has refereed several of the Florida teams in the postseason, Charlie.
Yeah. I always remember him from that final FIU.
That's right.
MTSU.
We should have asked him about that.
Oh yeah, well, because we're running because it's already 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
What time is it?
We got 2 games to go on the video side of things. So let's bring Tallahassee took on Indian River.
You know what? We're gonna. Sorry, I'm gonna change the order because we have Tallahassee is not in the room, and we have Ocala and Lakeland.
All right, let's bring in some representatives from these two D4 is up and coming D4 sides. We've got Angel from Ocala, and we've got Tyler from the Lakeland Lancers. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us this evening on T-Fro.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks for chipping in and getting video for this game. I watched the highlights earlier. There was some interesting tries, for sure. It looked like a great fun day was had despite the score. Ocala hung in there. Obviously their first year as a team. Lakeland, Tyler, how many years has Lakeland been going now? This is their first year as a sort of competing team, right?
Yeah, I think this is maybe the third.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say third year, yeah.
Yeah, but second that we're really having an actual season.
Okay, second in D4. So let's look at some highlights. We've got Lakeland in the the red and white, and the Ocala Gladiators. We have a Hawkeye Hawkins sighting, Charlie.
Really?
He hasn't reffed at all this season. He came out of his diva hole to referee this game, and we appreciate Hawkeye, even though he's a pain in the ass sometimes. But he reffed the Tropical Sevens and got the itch again, so he came out to referee this one. And don't kick to that man. Lakeland taking advantage of that fumble and going all the way for the early try. Let's talk to Tyler first. Tyler, how's this season been going? Obviously, this was a nice win for you boys.
Yeah,
things will get a little tougher now.
Right.
Talk about the season overall for Lakeland.
Yeah, I've had some good spots, some bad spots. A lot of development to be had. We've had, I think probably 8 or 9 of our starters at this point are first-year guys.
Oh, wow.
And 1 or 2 a game that it's their first game. So recruitment is going well now, but yeah, definitely still deep in development.
What are the challenges of having a rugby team in Lakeland? I know you're sort of in between Tampa and Orlando there, but it's a pretty populous area, right?
It is, and I've actually been surprised that it hasn't been larger than it is in having 15 guys at a game and 15 at a practice. But I mean, having obviously Orlando and Tampa nearby, I think at this point to be able to pull from, have some good scrimmages against. We had a friendly earlier this year against the Pelicans. That's definitely helping us out. And yeah, great play by JD there. He's been a president and captain for the team for a long time. So yeah, it is difficult between the two areas, but I think we're beginning to come into our own.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like the way this D4 sort of division has come about. You've got those guys who just want to play social rugby and don't want to commit perhaps to, 2 practices a week of 2 hours apiece, but or haven't played the game much, and not everywhere has a D3 side. So this D4 has really taken off this year. It's great to see. And Angel, Kyle obviously has a first-year team. Give us a bit about your rugby history and how you got involved.
Well, I played pretty much most of my life from South Africa, and then
Okay.
in the U.S. I played as well. Florida, mostly in Florida. Actually, Chris Hauser, we went to nationals a couple years in a row for touch rugby.
Okay.
So yeah, we had a good time, and then by the time we got around to Gainesville touch rugby or Ocala touch rugby, then tackle started, and I was very excited to bring back my good old days. I don't know how much I got left in me, but it's exciting to build a team. We've grown a lot. I mean, between the four official games we played this season, we started off first game we lost 70-0 against Tallahassee, and by third game we got to play them again, and we lost 62-5. So still a great improvement. So even winning one game and losing some games, we're improving every time. We got to consider that overall there's about 4 or 5 guys on the roster that played rugby before in their life. Everybody else is new.
Nice.
So they're learning. They're definitely learning, and we're excited for the next season. Seriously, we've taken some guys that has minimal experience and really made them fans of the sport and the brotherhood. So that's been a great experience for sure.
That's what it's all about, keeping them coming back. This was a nice little try here. I think it was off the kickoff.
Yeah.
Lakeland's got some athletes. I'm not sure about the choice of headgear here. It looks like like almost a swim cap, Charlie.
First game. That's Jaden's first game. He, I think,
good stuff. Love it.
For about a week, so he had a good first game.
Listen, that's what it's all about, keeping them coming back year after year, and hopefully in a couple of years you'll have 30 or 40 guys in a couple of years.
I know Lakeland, you guys been doing sevens for the past 2 years. Well, we didn't have last year, but you were very active. Are you planning to come back? And also,
we're very excited for summer. We're going to have a great sevens team. Lakeland also, we're going to have a really great league team. That's not directly underneath our Lancers name, so it's its own team. But we have a lot of guys that will go play league, and then we've got other guys that will be sevens.
Charlie,
very excited.
Charlie, these guys have mentioned touch rugby and league in the same segment. I'm not sure if they're going to be invited back if they continue mentioning the L word and the T word.
But
that's all right.
What about Ocala? Are you guys planning to do a 7th season? Angel.
Yeah, he's a little behind on the audio, I think.
To be honest, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So to be honest, we did not expect to be in the playoffs. So we were very excited to be part of it. So starting up next week, we're gonna keep practicing because we have another friendly scheduled, and then from there on, we're gonna keep on with practice because we're planning on doing 7 tournaments. Like June 5th, we're going to do surfing sevens. Beerfoot's really fun. We love that one. So I think overall, our guys would have a really good chance at sevens. So we got a lot to learn. And we'll even play in a touch tournament just to keep up for fitness. But next season, for sure, we'll grow in knowledge.
So yeah, CV's putting his thumbs up. Let me remind you, CV, that I've lost 2 referees to playing touch to torn ACLs. I've lost more reps to torn ACLs than I have than getting run over in games. So I'll allow you guys to mention the T word and the L word. We'll see how the rugby league goes this summer. I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses here in the state. It's not a game for everybody, but some people love it. I know SoFlo is really taking it very seriously, and we've obviously grown from 1 team in Jacksonville now to I think 3 or 4 teams in the state of Florida. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining us this evening on TFRO. It's great to have the new boys aboard. Lakeland, good luck the rest of the way in the playoffs. I think things, as I said, things will get a little tougher from here on out. There's some serious teams on the other 3 slots in the semifinals with Tallahassee, Daytona, and Okapi. But best of luck, and Lakeland, we will see you in the 7th season for sure.
Awesome. All right, thanks all.
Thank
Tyler.
you guys. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thanks, Angel.
Like
good stuff there from the guys in the middle of nowhere in the state.
Yeah, it's very nice to see teams.
Listen, the more teams and the more rugby opportunities for everybody, the better.
That's good.
All right, Charlie, we do have highlights from one more game. Oh, no,
Chris,
we don't. That's it for the videos.
You need to get closer to your mic.
Me or Chris?
Oh, Chris. Oh,
no, he doesn't. Charlie, he really doesn't.
What's the volume? I don't know.
Oh, we skipped Tallahassee. Do we have anybody from we have Alexander on from Claymores.
Let me
testing.
The last video we have.
Chris, very good interviews. I wanted to thank you that.
Thanks for those. Charlie posted a bunch of those on Facebook. I think we're probably going to have time for them tonight. We've just got so much to talk about. But if you want to check out some post-game videos that Charlie and Chris did, you can see them on the Rugby in Florida Facebook page.
And Instagram.
And Instagram as well. Let's talk about this final match, Charlie. This Tallahassee Indian River Claymores, the other quarterfinal.
So we have
obviously the fourth quarterfinal was a forfeit, as Alpha Maria lost to Okapi by a forfeit. But this was the third one that was played. It was Tallahassee 53, Indian River nothing, unfortunately. But Indian River Claymores.
And we're going to bring in Alexander Kavanaugh.
Here's Alex from Claymores. Thanks for joining us this evening, Alex.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Great job in getting this team together. And I know we sort of had two teams. We had sort of two half teams that came together and formed the final spot to fill this D4 slot.
So that was great season. Y'all can't hit for shit.
Charlie, cut that audio off, Charlie. I'm going to do it for you. Here's some highlights of the Tallahassee and obviously in the FSU hoops. Obviously, this game didn't quite go the way you wanted it to, Alex. But talk about this season as a whole for you two guys. You know, these two teams coming together to ensure that you guys got to play rugby.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like the great thing about it is obviously we had challenges with merging both teams from two separate locations. But every Saturday we made it work. You know, we were able to get that 15 on the field. A lot of our players were new guys. So even though the games didn't always go the way we would have liked, I think everybody got better. And more importantly, I feel like they kind of grew a love for the sport. So that's the end goal at the end of the day. So I think overall, you know, our season for 15s is probably over for the competitive side. I know we were trying to get a friendly in with Ocala, and we're definitely looking forward to the 7 season. But overall, it was a great season. I'm really proud of the guys, and I think we took a really big step as a club this season.
Yeah, how are Claymores on your own as a team looking for numbers perhaps for next season if you did decide to go on your own?
Yeah, so next season, you know, I think if we had our full Claymore side, I think we definitely have 15 or 16 players our own. I know you guys mentioned, you know, kind of like the U23s earlier in the podcast when I was listening. We actually have kind of something set up with Valencia College over here in Orlando. Right. So they're going to let us set up a booth kind of on like their club day or whatever they call it over there. So we might be able to get a few players from there. Some younger guys, you know, some of those ex-athletes. So that's always going to help with numbers. But, you know, I think next year we're definitely looking forward to still partnering with Indian River. They're great guys, and we have good chemistry with them. And we'll just see what happens with Valencia. And obviously Orlando is such a transit city where, you know, someone's always going to message us on Facebook one day. You know, it's inevitable. So we'll see what our numbers are like next year, but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, where's most of the Claymores team based out of? I know Orlando is such a big metropolitan area.
It is a big metropolitan area. A lot of Winter Garden. Me and my roommate both play. We live in the Orlando limits. Some players are a little more east of us, but kind of sporadic. You know, we don't really have a central location. We kind of practice on the west side of the city to kind of accompany those Winter Garden guys, but pretty sporadic.
Gotcha. We saw some highlights there. It was great to see you guys out playing. I know it was obviously not the way you wanted to end the season, but I'll see you out playing some 7s this year. Again, Surfing 7s June 5th, which
we plan
I have no affiliation with. I have no idea who's running that Surfing
7s. We should get that guy to sponsor the show, Ross, maybe. So
who, the Surfing 7s guy?
Yeah, so we can promote it.
I'll have a word in his ear, or her ear, I should say. But yeah, I hope this D4 thing, Charlie, I think it's been a great success.
I like it a lot.
It popped up out of nowhere a couple of years ago, and you know, there's been a lot of teams that were sort of hanging around playing friendlies, and this has sort of brought them together. And we've seen teams that have vanished, like Ocala vanished, a number of years ago, and Tallahassee that went away for a little bit, and they've come back and made this D4 thing a force. It's great to see.
Yeah.
All right, Alex. Well, thanks for joining us this evening. Appreciate you, and hope to see you out on the 7s field this summer.
Yeah, of course. You'll definitely see us out there. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, cheers. Thanks for joining the show.
And good luck.
All right, Charlie, we're looking okay for time here. We're through with our videos, but can we go? We talked about the U19 result. The other D4 result, as we said, was a forfeit. We do have a D3. We did have a D3 quarterfinal. Jacksonville at home handled Sarasota 26-10. So Jacksonville, excuse me, Jacksonville will head down to play Palm Beach in the one D3 semifinal with Pelicans. We'll get Brevard in the other one. We'll look at those games in a minute. We did have the women's games. They were a little one-sided, Charlie.
As expected, I guess.
Well,
right?
Listen, I thought the one Tampa Jacksonville was only 12-7 at the half.
Really?
And ended up with Tampa winning 71-7, and Orlando defeated Fort Miami 76-5. That game was videotaped for Fort Miami, but I think they'll appreciate us not showing the highlights of that game. But listen, Charlie, even if you lose a game by that margin, videotaping these games is huge for the development of these players, especially the new players. You can go back and watch the games as a team and really see where you made mistakes and where you can improve on for next season. Fort Miami, I think, will be back. Listen, Orlando got a lot of help from the UCF girls this year. They're really the only team out of those four that got a ton of help from a college side. So it should be an interesting final. I think Orlando probably edges Tampa in that one, as they did in the regular season.
I would not be able to make a prediction, to be honest.
No? We'll get to predictions in a little bit. All right, before we get to the predictions for next week, Charlie, let's give our sponsors another shout-out, the second time in the show. If you have a 401k, or if you want a 401k, or even run a 401k, the team at 401k FL has the experience to tackle your retirement needs or goals. Visit 401kfl.com to kick things off. Talk to Mick Graham. You might get lucky and talk to Mick Graham himself. He probably has millions underneath him, but you may get to talk to the special man. Hopefully we'll have him on next week to talk about the Brevard semifinal against the Pellies. And we have Flash to thank as well. In the bottom right-hand corner, there is a new sponsor, the Rugby Equipment Company out of Argentina, looking to really get a foothold here in the United States.
So let's just run this little...
you had a quick chat, Charlie, didn't you? Who did you talk with from Flash?
Because it's always with the principal, Pablo. I'm gonna leave his name to be showing on the screen because it's sort of hard
if you want to get in touch with Pablo, you can
but
reach out to him.
I think it's nice to get to to know these people. So let's run this little interview where he talks about the company and what's coming. Okay. Good afternoon. I am Charlie Velasquez. We're right here during a game between Okapi and Gainesville. And I am here with Pablo Kriletic. Did I get it right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
He is from Flash Sportswear, which is one of our
Rugby. Let's say
Flash Rugby. Okay, Flash
yes.
Rugby. They're going to become one of our sponsors for the podcast and for Rugby in Florida. So I just wanted to welcome him and ask him a little bit about his company, because I know this is like a different type of company that
it's a major challenge for us. We have been in the Argentinian market for over 30 years, gradually stepping down across the Latin American region, South Latin American, to Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, and now we're stepping into the US and Canada market. So we're very excited about it, and I think our customer value proposition is unique, since we are the only brand created by ruggers, managed by ruggers, for ruggers. So we've been there, we know what you need. I guess nobody can match that difference, that competence so far. We're very excited about it. We hope to be leader in the market by 2025. We're doing our first step with our initial partners here. Despite the pandemics, 2020 has been a very, very good year. We have several teams here like the Okapi and Biscayne Rods, San Antonio in Texas, well, several ones, Florida Rugby Union, and much more to come.
It's really nice also to have your rugby provider right here for all the the Florida teams.
Yes.
They are around. You can talk to them. You can actually meet them, And I know you guys are planning for the 7 seasons to come up with something.
Yes.
interesting for the teams.
We have received a lot of queries about it, and we are preparing a special offer for the sevens, a complete package for the teams to have: the jersey, the shorts, the socks, and whatever else they need. That will hopefully be online next week.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know the quality is great because I
It's the
have some
best.
of your stuff.
It's the best.
But I would say maybe probably, but it's very good. And as he said, this is rugby people, so it's always, when you get to call them, you always have a lot of things to talk about. If not,
Exactly.
only. So welcome. We're gonna see you around.
Thank you,
I'm
Charlie.
glad you're on the
Hope so.
podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully for some time, and we'll see you around. Thank you very much.
Surely.
Some
There you
good
go.
words there from our flash. What should we call him, Charlie? Our flash bro. He's helped out. Our flash. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it, but I do want to apologize. As Stephen pointed out in the comments, I completely skipped over the Daytona Coconuts win over SoFlo. We obviously showed that great, amazing gesture before the game where they presented SoFlo with a jersey. Daytona did edge SoFlo 29-19 in that quarterfinal, so they will head on to the semifinals. Here are some great photos from that game. Doug Brown, that man is never going to retire.
There he is.
How old is Doc now, Chris? You probably know. He's about your age, isn't he?
About my age.
He's like 40, maybe.
22.
He still plays like he's 22. I think he went away for a little bit, but he's back now with the force and playing D4 and having fun as we see Ryan
good.
Forston there making the tackle on him, I think.
Good to see him out there.
Some good-looking jerseys. That was Barrick Fuchs there as well, I think, in the background. No, I'm kidding. He looks just like him, though. But Daytona with a 10-point win over SoFlo, and then we'll move on to the semifinals. So let's get on to our predictions, Charlie. That's a solid haircut right there. That's a solid brulee. Business in the front, party in the back. Refereed by Yusuf Johnson there in the white. I give credit to Yusuf. He got his first. I think he got his first shot, his first COVID shot. There's Yusuf. He got his first COVID shot. I think the day before the game, and he was feeling it on Sunday.
Oh wow!
There's Doc Brown making more tackles. So a good win by Daytona. They move on to the D4 semifinals, which are going to be very interesting.
I'm gonna say that they are one of the candidates, right, to win this.
Well, let's get to our predictions, Charlie. Let's take a look at. That's a solid beard there too. Daytona's got solid hair, both on the chin and on the head. I'm not sure about the hair there. I'll give him credit for the beard, but not for the man bun. Sorry.
Some great pictures. I want to give a shout out to Tony.
Yeah, give a shout out.
Box.
Some solid shots.
This lady, Tony Box, great pictures. I'm in the process of trying to get all the good photographers we have here in rugby and Florida for rugby, and like put them all together in one place so people can go. And because I would think that many times you would want to have one of these pictures in a big frame, right?
Yeah.
But then you have to actually go and get the original, high quality.
Yeah, you got to get the high res stuff. Yeah, for sure.
And leave some money on the plate. So I'm gonna be organizing that for our good photographers.
So that's two of the best jerseys in the state right here, Charlie. We'll see more of the SoFlo boys, I'm sure, this summer, perhaps before Rugby League gets started. Hopefully, we'll see them on the 7th circuit as well. I know they're really focused on playing Rugby League, but hopefully, we'll see them. That's what we're used to seeing them on the 7s in the 7s tournaments, where they're always a factor.
Yes.
But some great shots there. All right, Charlie, let's get to our predictions. It's 8:27.
Quickly.
We're not going to have much time for open mic. I'm sure Chris has got a lot to say, but let's get to our schedule for next week.
Just information about Jaguares.
Jaguares, yeah, we'll do some Jaguares promotion here for all those people listening that might not know about the Jaguares and what they're going to be doing this summer. All right, so here's our. Ignore the scores at the top there, but look at those ones highlighted there by Charlie. So we've got our D2 semifinals. Naples hosting Orlando as the higher seed, and Trident's hosting Tampa. Do you like the home teams here in this ones, Charlie, or do you see an upset coming anywhere?
I like the home teams.
I would agree. I think we're going to have a Naples Tridents championship game. I think the Naples game maybe closer than the Tridents game, but Tridents haven't played in a while. Neither has Naples. They both had a bye last week in their first round. So hopefully it might take them a little while to get going. But I expect both home teams to win those games. And then we have the D3 semifinals. I think you and I are on the same page with these two, Charlie, as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Brevard and Palm Beach, the class of D3. And I expect those two to win those two games handsomely. Although, again, as also same with D2, they've had a few weeks off. So they may need a few minutes to shake off the rust.
Yeah.
D4. What do you think here, Charlie? Any upsets here?
Pretty much. I think I'm gonna go with all the home teams. Also, I'm not sure about the. We have these two, Daytona against Okapi. Okapi has to travel, so that's because that should be a very tight game, and I think the Tallahassee team is gonna prevail also.
My voice is giving out on me, Charlie. I'm coughing up a lung. Luckily, I'm out of gin and tonic, so I can't drink any of that. Yeah, I think Tallahassee Lakeland might be a little closer than people expect, but I think Tallahassee by a couple of tries. Daytona, long trip for Okapi. I expect they'll edge that at home as well. So I'm going with all the home teams in the men's semifinals.
Yeah,
I would agree. Yeah.
All right. U23. Gainesville with another long trip to Palm Beach. Two trips down into South Florida in a row is no fun for anyone. I think Palm Beach will have. Thank you, my dear. My wife provides me with some water before I cough my lungs up. Oh man,
that's gonna be water. I think it's gonna be a tight game. Because these Gainesville boys, they showed they can travel, and they're
getting better by the day. I think it'll be closer than some people expect, but I still think Palm Beach comes out on top.
And Palm Beach hasn't played either for like 3 weeks, so I don't know how that's gonna play in for these teams that have not played, and you're playing somebody who just played the week or the 2 weeks before.
Well, yeah, the body's going to thank you for not playing for a month, but it's the head and just being in a game situation that's the difficulty. Yeah. Orlando, Tallahassee. If Tallahassee were in the D4 semifinals as well, I think I'd give them a chance here, but I think they're just going to be stretched a little too thin. I think we'll have a rematch of that very close regular season match between Palm Beach and Orlando in the championship game.
Yeah.
All right, now on to the U19s. I think we would both agree been the most fun competition this season.
Oh, yeah, by far.
We got Swiffle Hammerheads hosting Jacksonville. Jacksonville coming a long way.
Yes.
We saw what happened last time they traveled down. They traveled down to the southeast to play Cardinal Gibbons a few weeks ago, and that didn't end up.
But let me tell you, they when teams travel, I mean, one of the main problems is that they many times lose a lot of players that can travel. But if I don't remember incorrectly, when they came to play Gibbons, they had the full team. I don't recall them being too,
No, yeah, it's Jacksonville's an interesting team.
That was a weird game. I would not like. It was just a weird game. So I expect this one to be much closer.
Yeah, I think 7 to 12 points perhaps with Hammerheads. I think Hammerheads come out on top in the end.
Yes.
Is there a warning of somebody being kidnapped?
Amber alert. It's my bedtime.
Or is it a silver? It's a silver alert out for Ken Simmons. His wife's wondering where he's been for the last hour and a half. He's been watching Tifra as Chris gets him. Chris gets a visit from the wife.
Hello,
Ms. Vassal. How are you?
She is not in the kitchen.
I didn't mean to come in the picture.
Sure.
Hey, Chris, you have to bring on your daughter someday. The one that runs faster than Jordan.
I'm trying to get her to play rugby, but she's not having it.
No, but just bring her on the podcast.
What is she doing? What is she doing athletically, Chris?
Oh, athletically?
Yeah, sport-wise. She's getting a thumb workout. Oh boy.
Thumb workout. Yeah.
And our final game next weekend, as we have CV here, Boca Raton against Gibbons, the South Florida matchup.
Wow.
They played each other earlier this season. It was a 7-7 game. CV, give us your thoughts on that first game before we get to the semi.
The first game when we played tied 7-7.
Yeah.
It was a tough day. I mean, it was a tough day going against big boys. And, you know, like I said before, and like Coach Johan told the boys and with the whole coaching staff, they said, you know, this is a team of athletes that's going to come around and come right. So athletes will come to want to win and be champions at the end of the day. So that's what we have right now in this story. You know, it's up to our boys right now to hey, Joanne Weaver, it's our time for our boys to step up and really put the hammer in, you know, put shoulders into it, because it's going to be a tough day come this Saturday. That's all I can say. Both great guys, great teams, great athletes, but at the end of the day, my vote's on Boca, 100%.
Of course.
Hey, listen, you have to keep in mind the tiebreaker, because you guys tied in your game, so you score the same amount of tries in the game. You tied in the season. What's next?
Right.
See,
I think it's a coin.
I think
it's a common. It's most tries. It goes to most tries if they've played the same amount of playoff games. So who had more tries? I think Gibbons had more tries in the first playoff game, right?
I don't know if that's a tiebreaker.
Charlie, I'm telling you. I sent the email out. I'll pull it up if you need me to.
Okay, no.
If they played the same amount of playoff games,
please,
it is the number of tries.
Somebody win. Just somebody win, okay?
Charlie, who's going to win? I'm coming to you first.
Oh, my God. This is really a tough one, huh?
Put you on the spot, Charlie.
I mean, this is going to be like a 1-point game. And
okay,
I'm going to have to give it to, oh, my God.
Say,
you just say it's going to be a tie too, and that Gibbons get it on the tiebreaker.
Hi, Valentina.
I'm going to give it to Boca if you guys have a better kicker, okay?
Oh,
that doesn't miss a conversion. No pressure on the kicker. But these are the games that, you know, kickers, they really make a difference.
Well, you know, Charlie and Ross, it's playoffs, right? So anything can happen, and it's all who wants it most.
No, 100%. And as Charlie and I have agreed on every pick up until this point for next weekend, I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to go with Gibbons.
Really?
Ross! What is wrong with you?
The wife says Boca by 2, but I just think Gibbons are on a roll. Boca their pitch is a sizable pitch that they'll have to get it wide. You saw how Okapi came back in that game when they started the couple of phases and spun it
as
wide.
as you can to the concrete, okay?
Yeah.
You just have the touch be the concrete line.
All right, before Chris goes, Chris, I
just let me say one quick thing,
Charlie.
Ross. For these games, when you have two teams that are solid teams, I think at the end of the day, and if there's always a little bit of luck that happens, of course.
For sure.
But I think at the end of the day, it's the mental game that wins. The team that can keep the 70 minutes that they can keep focused and not getting crazy and knowing what to do. When I was watching this game against
Biscayne?
No, the U23 Gainesville against Okapi. I was talking to a young referee, and I was like analyzing. You see, look what's going on. The game is about to end. They have the ball. What are they doing with it? Are they really taking care of it? Because if you have 1 minute to go, and you score, you win the game. The first thing you want to do is keep possession at all costs. Yes. You don't be running like a beheaded chicken and trying to score. No, you want to keep possession first of all. But you have to have that keep that in your mind at the last minute. Because if not, you do stupid things and you lose the ball, you do a knock on whatever.
And your coaches need to know the tiebreaker rules.
Oh yeah, and you have to take a lawyer.
Because if you didn't knock down a ball in that last play there, you'd have been done.
Would have been done.
Take the points when they're given to you, Christopher.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, before we let you go, I texted you earlier this week about Jaguares.
Yes.
The sort of Florida representative side. So give us an update on what's going on with them and the U16s, U19s, tryouts, etc.
Yes. So right now we're on the final stages of the picking up the players. Players get nominated by their coaches of their respective teams from U16 to U18s. Tonight we're going to have a final meeting after this podcast at 9 o'clock actually, and we are going to be sending out emails to the coaches and to the players to invite them coming out to our first training session, which will be the 18th, which is this Sunday, and we're going to split up North and South. So North will have their respective practice, and then the South will have theirs on the 18th, the 25th, and then we get together in May on Saturdays once we're done with the championships, of course. Yeah. And then we get our collective team together. So we're still working out just a little practice dynamic when we get together, but the objective and the goal for Jaguares is to create one Florida team from the North and South where we're all inclusive and everybody's involved. Because in the past it used to be, the major big teams will have their players on there and a few guys coming from here and there. But now we're looking at 30 from the South, 25 from the North coming together, both age grades, and then picking our 25 from there. And what our goal is on May 15th is hopefully we're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia to play in a curtain raiser before the MLR team.
That's great. Don't tell me hopefully, Chris. I already bought my tickets for the Rugby ATL.
Well, it's good. Well, at least you're going. They're happy about it. Well, that's our goal right now. The issue is what I'm hearing with Georgia, and Mariana just told me last week, and the MLR guys told us that the Georgia Union aren't playing 15s as yet, just because of the COVID. So they're working on the logistics to actually open the door to let us do that, to have this event there. So
you can just start the game with 13 and then sneak a couple of guys in,
Yeah, we're used to playing with 13s like Boca.
You do this, you go, and then you put a couple of guys in,
There you go.
Well, hopefully, I'll be doing some scouting. Obviously, it's my job with my Eagle Eye scouting job. So the Florida Jaguars will be a great spot for that. So hopefully, I'll be out there this Sunday or next Sunday with my fancy new video camera.
Ross and Charlie, thank you again. So everyone who's just paying attention, coaches and players, if you're on here, just look out for those emails that's coming from the Florida Jaguares, and just get ready to be activated and come in and do something for our state.
Chris, we saw what Okapi did this past weekend, so I'm looking forward to Florida going up there and kicking some backside.
You know what would be nice for Jaguares also to have some games locally here. Get somebody to come and play so we can watch them.
That's another conversation we had as well. Is maybe having the North Carolina teams, those guys coming down and doing a match against us as well. So we got a lot in the works and looking to continue and grow this as it should be.
Very good stuff, boys. Charlie, we only went 10 minutes over. That wasn't too bad. We had a ton of content, ton of video, ton of coaches and players. And thanks for everybody who stuck around till the end. Obviously, if you missed the episode live tonight, tell your friends in front of you. They can check it out on the replay on YouTube or on Facebook. And you can always check out the audio version on any major podcast platform. Just search for Rugby Florida or TFRO. And you should be able to find it. We'll be back next week for episode 30. Charlie, we made 30 episodes. Although we did have like a pre-episode, so this is sort of episode 30, but
sort of.
It'll be officially next week 30. And thanks for everybody who's tuned in. Thanks for everybody downloading, etc. And obviously thanks to everybody who came out and helped out tonight. I know we had some big numbers, so hopefully we'll have that again next week after all of these semifinals. I'm looking forward to seeing the highlights. I don't think I'm going to get to see any games live. I'm taking this week off again. Letting the young boys have at it, Charlie, as they say. And if I'm needed, I'll fill in somewhere. But
we are going to have quite a few games on video because myself, I've been. We're going to go to Naples to tape that high school game over there. So we're going to have both high school semifinals and the men's also, most likely.
Good stuff. Well, great work, Charlie, as always. As my esteemed producer, CV, thanks as always for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Know your tiebreaker rules and take the 3 points when they're given to you, okay?
100%. Well, thanks for 401k and Flash.
Of course.
Going all day, counting on you guys.
Yeah, thanks to our sponsors as always. And we'll see everybody next week.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you, Chris. Good job, Russ.
Cheers.